DreamHack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Intel, and Monster Energy.
It's been hotting up here in Leipzig as North take the second win of the day. But it's time to get into another spicy matchup as Cloud9 will be taking on Renegades very, very shortly. My name is Biz, your desk host for the duration of this weekend. Joining me up on the desk are the wonderful Potter and Maniac. No Giles hands this time? Nothing?
I'm doing a thing with my eyebrow. I don't feel like a catch head.
I can't do that.
You can do that? I can only do it from the left eye. I could never do it from the right one.
We're going to have to learn. In the break,
we'll practice.
We'll be learning that. Yeah, we need some synchronized dances. That's exactly what we need. But guys, we're getting into our third match of the day. This is going to be a huge one. Cloud9 versus Renegades. Two sides that I feel have some question marks still around their form, their performance coming into this. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, you're the expert. I think I'm just going to bring you coffee and stuff like that. Maybe fruit. Do you need anything, like a banana or something? Because I'm so out of my
I'm a very new expert to this team, but let me tell you, I'm a huge fan already. I've jumped completely on board. I really like this organic feel coming out of this new Cloud9 lineup. I think it's something that's pretty rare nowadays, especially with all the infrastructure and investments coming in from all these organizations. Usually we'll see hand-picked players, hand-picked teams created specifically for those championships. But this team, man, these guys are young. We got to talk about Floppy. He's only been playing CS since 2014. He just, that's 6 years, man. That's 6 years, and he's now all of a sudden competing with the best.
How does that make us feel? He's been playing with 2014.
It's great. I mean, the reason I'm pointing it out is not only is it impressive that he's made it to this level, but I think it bodes well for the entirety of the Cloud9 lineup, because now they don't really have to focus on breaking bad habits. They don't have to focus on, you know, what mistakes they've made in the past. These guys are fresh. They're as fresh as they come. So really, they only have one goal and one focus in mind, and that's climbing up the ladder. They don't have to have any other distractions coming out that we see a lot of these teams having to deal with nowadays.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, one of the problems for Cloud9 for so long was to try and change one player, trying to find the solution. Oh, this guy is probably the problem. We're going to bring in this new one and it's going to be amazing. No, now it's tabula rasa. They bring up a team with their own ecosystem and they're actually working. I think that lineup was 80K before, right? Since they've been with the Cloud9 tag, 14 wins out of 16 maps. That is pretty impressive. When was the last time Cloud9 had kind of numbers? I mean, if Tana was here, he would talk about when they won the major.
Exactly.
That would be probably it.
Well, Cloud9 will be one of the teams making up our Group A bracket, of course, alongside Renegades. But let's take a look at what happened this morning. If you guys weren't tuned in, obviously Big taking down Virtus Pro. Again, I like looking at this bracket because if you were, I don't know, asleep for the past 3 months, you would look at these teams and you would think they were completely different teams.
I'm going to be a little bit annoying and just tell the people that actually, there you go. Someone cut me up before I said it. Never mind. No, I'm just going to stay here and do my job. Big won, they move on to the winner bracket final and VP will have to fight for their lives in the elimination match.
Yes, it's going to be a huge, huge day tomorrow. Obviously, those will be the best of threes tomorrow. But if Cloud9 or Renegades will win this matchup, they'll be going up against Big. And then if they win that one, they get a free pass tomorrow. They get a day to go to explore the city, chill out a little bit, maybe
explore
have
the
some
city?
practice.
No, practice. Watch you play. Explore the city. What is that philosophy? Guys, we just want to know there's a great circus we can go over there.
I mean, North said that.
Hey, they were like, yes, Freya's right.
Yeah.
To be fair, a lot of these teams, you know, they'll show up and they're not as dedicated as you, Matthew.
Let's maintain that illusion. I really like that. It's perfect.
But of course, there is so much on the line for both these teams. Obviously, we've got $100,000 prize pool, the DreamHack trophy, and the spot at DreamHack Masters Yongshiping, which is absolutely huge coming into this for some of these teams. But we have seen obviously like Cloud9, they've been such a historic name. There's such a caliber coming behind these guys, even though it is a completely different roster. There's still some expectations on their shoulders, I would say.
Yeah, there is, but if you're this ATK roster now picked up by Cloud9, I feel like all the lights are green, right? You come into an organization that had so much troubles finding consistency, changing lineups all the time, having disappointment after disappointment, and then you start winning all your games. I think they have beaten Complexity twice in best of 3 already. They beat United, they beat MIBR. Everything is looking great, and I think they're only fueled with positive energy at the moment. They might hit a break at some point, they might hit disappointing results, and I don't know how they're going to react, but so far so good. Everything is going well for them.
I think there is a bit of a but there. Those have been mostly online matches, right? This is one of their first LANs that they're attending
The
as
O word,
a team.
online.
Yes. That's the difficulty, but that isn't to say that they can't translate those performances to a LAN.
Is that what you're saying? I'm just kidding, it's not true. We were waiting to see if they can. That would be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure, and I think this all goes back to that fresh, young blood type. These guys, these are the new Counter-Strike players. When we talk about the pressure of being up on that stage, the pressure of failing, the pressure of winning, these guys have, I mean, Floppy's been playing since 2014, so he's grown up with Counter-Strike being as mainstream as it is, with Counter-Strike being as competitive as it is. So this is all the Counter-Strike he knows. You know, Matthew, we've dealt with going into LANs with no spectators, you know, PCs, table, no desk space. These guys, this is it. Counter-Strike at this level, this is all they know. So I mean, I think that bodes well for them.
It was like
why the drive-by? Why the drive-by? Why do you feel the need to remind people that, yeah, when we used to play, the first event I went to, I slept under the table. I literally slept on the floor.
That is dedication.
Probably 3 hours. I woke up. That was very unsanitary. You know, we did what we had to do because we loved the game.
Well, we can see the map veto also playing out. Of course, this is a best of 1, but we will be landing on Overpass. Any surprises there? I think there is a little bit.
It's a very technical map to see in best of 1. I think it's not a map that is that, recurrent in best of 1 specifically because...
It definitely isn't.
There is a map where people are either expert or not. I think like it's not a middle ground. You don't play Overpass because you kind of know how to do it and you don't really know. No. If you play Overpass, if you accept to do it, that's because you feel great on the map. So that must mean that there is an overlap in the maps that they play, and Overpass is a good map for both. Now, we have focused on Cloud9, but I think Renegades is in a similar situation in the sense that Greyhound, they made it to the big house. If you're from Oceania, you know, Renegades, that's the name you want to have, and now they're in that situation.
Yeah, well, we'll be touching on Renegades very, very shortly. But first, let's take a look at Cloud9 and what they had to say before their first matchup.
The Foreman team is great. I think we've only lost 2 maps since joining Cloud9. We came back early in the year compared to other teams to get the extra practice in, so we were prepared for this qualifier, and I think it paid off, and we've been playing really well. We all look at how the enemy team plays in terms of like tendencies and stuff like that, so we're prepared for that. We were putting in a lot of time individually, and before we flew over here early in the morning, like early, 9, 10 in the morning, we were actually dry running like all of our strats, make sure everyone's on the same page, and we're ready for the tournament. Man, I think we all expect to win this. I mean, we're coming across the world, we're prepping hard, practicing really hard, and we want to win, yeah. That's our goal. Other teams should definitely respect us. I think we put in a lot of work, and I think it will show. I believe it will show.
I love that he touched on the qualifiers there, because that's something we haven't actually spoken about. Cloud9 coming into this tournament, they beat a Triumph, Complexity, and a United. So 2 out of the 3 are pretty huge teams in NA, right?
You're absolutely right. And if I might add, all these games, I think the last 7 maps of this qualifier were going to double digits for the opponent. What I mean by that is these were tough games. These were very tight and close games. And Cloud9, which I would definitely not give the edge of the experience to. You know, if you compare them to United or Complexity, I would not favor them. But actually they won. They won these tight games. They won these very high pressure situation, high pressure rounds. So if that can translate into the LAN environment, that'll put them in a great position.
Absolutely, and I think this man of the match, man on your screen right here, he's certainly been a huge pivotal part of Cloud9's success. And when you think about Cloud9 and the players on this roster, I think it's pretty obvious, the obvious star factor on this lineup is Floppy. But I think low-key MOTM, he's the guy that swings the tides of the round immediately. He had so many impactful multi-kills, especially on actually Overpass in the qualifier leading up to this tournament in Leipzig. He had so many momentous rounds towards that A bathroom side, and I expect him to do more or less the same here.
Yeah, exactly. And I also wanted to pick up on Sonic as well. He's a guy, especially when looking at ATK, he was sort of up and coming back then. I remember, I think it was ECS Season 8 online. They almost knocked MIBR out of the running for actually going to Texas for the LAN finals. It was literally this close, and Sonic was a massive factor in that.
For sure. And
talking about MIBR, I just realized that Cloud9 beat them in the Katowice qualifier. That is insane. They actually won 3-1 against MIBR. They knocked them out in the qualifier for IEM Katowice.
And that's why we're not going to see Cloud9 in Anaheim, because they're going to be in Katowice.
Because they beat Katowice. Yeah. That's a flex on you. MIBR saying, you know what, guys, you can go to Anaheim. Have a good time there. It's lovely by the time we'll be in Katowice.
Yeah.
So you can watch our demos if you want to, because we'll be up there. Oh,
exactly.
Exactly. Well, Freya, I wanted to touch on the Sonic aspect, and you're absolutely right. Sonic has been within the scene for quite some time. We have to remember, Sonic and JT and even their coach, these three guys came all the way from South Africa, made it all the way to North America to try to make a name for themselves, make something with this whole Bravado project going on, and now they've done upgraded. They made it as far as they could with that roster. They slowly upgraded, and now they find themselves all of a sudden qualifying for Katowice and playing with the big dogs. And I think it's such a fantastic story, especially for Sonic and JT.
Well, their first matchup will be against Renegades. Let's take a quick look at what those guys had to say before this game.
It feels pretty great. Everyone's getting along pretty well, so it's pretty natural. We just had a small 4-day boot camp, just to get over the jet lag and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty important for us. So yeah, just do boot camp and then just slowly get into it again, pretty much. Expectations, not really anything. We just want to make sure we win, but like having too high of expectations can just put unnecessary pressure on you. So it's more of a relaxed feel for this tournament, and making sure we try and learn and do our best with a good mentality. Cloud9's very good. They have a lot of young talent, and they have very good work ethic from what I see, and then, yeah, they work and gel well together as a team from what I've seen from their games and stuff.
I love getting to hear from Dexter because he seems so down to earth and really quite grounded. He's coming into this, not expecting to blow anybody out of the water, getting in some practice. And obviously, he's mentioning the jet lag, the time zones, the difference in that. That's got to be a big adaptation, coming into this.
For sure, and I think being the in-game leader of a team and having such a soothing, calming voice like he does, I mean, it certainly helps, right? It's really difficult and challenging, actually, as a player, if your in-game leader has like a hyphy voice and they're like, B, or, getting a little too over-hyphy. So, yeah, you're right, Freya. I think I like Dexter's voice, too.
Yeah, do you think you can actually physically argue with him? I don't think you can ever argue.
No.
Yeah, he would calm things down too fast.
You'd be like, no, hey, man, what the hell, man? And he'd be like, come on, man, it's going to be okay, They
Voice of reason. I love that.
Like, okay, actually, you're right. Down to earth. No, yes, very interesting interview from Dexter. And honestly, this lineup, this Renegade lineup, former Greyhound, always been a mystery to me because I could never discard them from any game in the sense that I thought they were dangerous, but it never felt to me like they had what it took to make it to the next level. So how do you categorize a team like that? A team that you should consider a danger, that any day of the week they could be a problem for you, but then I could not put them at the top dog table. I could not do that. They were not there yet. So they made a change. They brought hats for Dick Stacy. Would that be the move? It appears the numbers are not so favorable so far. You were telling me before, Christine.
Exactly. And I think, the best case scenario for this Renegades lineup, because as you mentioned, Matthew, Hats was not picked up for his ability in the server to put up those numbers on the scoreboard. I mean, his pass on order, he wasn't that type of player. So depending on what kind of value he brings to this Renegades lineup, I think it's going to be important for these guys to be able to combat and capitalize on this Hats pickup.
No, I totally agree with you, Christine. And I think one important thing about Renegades coming into a matchup against Cloud9 is that Cloud9 historically, they've been together for like, what, a month and a half, maybe? But they've seen, their T sides have been so good. That's been their sort of strong point, and their CT side's a little bit weaker. So for Renegades, I think that's going to be a point of contention, a point that they're really going to have to contend Cloud9 for.
Yeah, and you don't really know if they're going to have what it takes for it, because that roster together has joined, what, January at the beginning of this month? That is pretty new. This 5 together. Now, granted, the rest have been together for a very long time. I was looking at the numbers. Dexter has been in Greyhound 2017. How often is that a player stays for so long with the roster, right? And you have Malta joined in 2018 as well. So some players have been together for a long, long time. So I hope they can help Hats integrate the lineup.
Yep, exactly. Well, we're going to be getting into our predictions for this third best of one of the day. Potter, I'm going to start off with you. Sorry, who are you going with?
I got to go with Cloud9, man. OC, he's the only Korean on that team, and I'm on board 100%,
Right.
North America hype train. Who you going to join?
I'll join the train, honestly. Cloud9, they have impressed me recently, so Cloud9.
I think I'm going to be joining that train too. I think just looking at some of their form from previous matchups, I think they're going to be the ones taking us. I'm very interested to see what Twitch chat are going to be saying about this as well. I think we could have kind of guessed from the past couple of games. They'd be siding with the German sides, especially the crowd out in there. They've been really backing those German sides, haven't they?
Yeah, that's the beauty of these local events.
Whoa.
Right? Wait,
Oh,
hold on,
totally split. Totally down the middle.
I'm going to doubt these numbers for a bit. I might be wrong
Production
and
is
eat
just
my
as
tongue.
surprised as we are. They're like, maybe there's a malfunction there.
Well, we're going to be heading to a quick break.
doubt.
When we come back, we'll be getting into the third best of one of the day. It's Cloud9 taking on Renegades. Don't go anywhere.
Lichter der Stadt, ich kann's kaum glauben, nur du und ich und die Lichter der Stadt. Komm einfach mit mir mit, der Flieger ist startklar, ohne große Koffer.
Game 3 and our final best of one of today, Pimp. We'll see Cloud9 and Renegades go toe-to-toe. Two teams that are relatively new as a full roster, as they were saying on the desk. Obviously with Renegades, some of these players have been playing for a long time, but it's going to be very interesting to see what develops here in this match.
Definitely two teams with a lot of history, at least when it comes to the organizational side of it, right? Cloud9, we know them to be the powerhouse of North American Counter-Strike, and for a long, long time, the team they had didn't deliver. For a long, long time, there was a lot of fans out there, including myself, saying that you gotta do something. And now Cloud9, they completely turned around the ship. They went with this, relatively unproven roster, a lot of young talents, a lot of new prospects into the scene. And I like that. I like the fact that they're banking on the new guys. And instead of just trying to do something halfway there, they just, you know what, let's steer the ship around, let's try something new. That's what Cloud9 have done, and so far they've been performing well. We heard the analysis panel talk about them beating MIBI in the qualifier for Katowice. That was a huge result for that roster. So far so good. Whereas for Renegades, they had to pick up, the legacy of the now current 100 Thieves lineup, and that's a big legacy because they were doing so well at the later stages. Do they have what it takes to fully, pick up where 100 Thieves left? I'm not too sure just yet, Also now Dick Stacy's out of that lineup. There's a lot of question marks surrounding that lineup, but overall, I think both these teams are very interesting, and both these teams have a lot of prospects, coming into the future, both in terms of history behind them, but also some of the players in the lineups.
Yeah, and again, I go back to those pre-game interviews. We heard Dexter saying, look, there's no pressure on us again. We just want to see how we can make these changes fit. It's a bit more about learning from mistakes and just trying to go on that course. Whereas Cloud9 were like, yeah, we came here to win this. Like, we actually came here to win the entire thing. Which it's a bit jarring considering the amount of confidence that Cloud9 have, but it's great. It's great to see a team actually come out and say, look, we actually expect to win this.
It's super great, especially considering where they're coming from. Because if you look at the players, if you look at the history of that lineup, it's not like they have a lot of results to back that statement up with, right? It's not like you're looking at them like you're looking at North and thinking to yourself, okay, we got a major winner here, we got a player who's been a professional player for 8 years over here, we got an ex-Astralis over there, we got MSL who's had a lot of success. Like, it's not the same thing when you're looking at Cloud9. You're looking at new players, new prospects, new guys that are trying to make their way and trying to make their own legacy, so to speak, trying to create their own history as well. So I like the confidence a lot, and I think they can back it up with how they played so far. That win against MIBR in that qualifier, I was watching some of their games. They're playing some solid Counter-Strike. We saw them at Pro League as well in Odense before they got picked up by Cloud9, beating G2 in a best of 3 in the lower brackets, sending them out of the tournament. The results back them up, Now we just have to see it when they face equal peers, so to speak. They're facing teams on their own level. How are they going to act there? Now you're no longer the underdog, you're the favorite. Can you perform to the same level?
It's a whole different kind of pressure and a kind of different mentality that you have to have going into those games. I asked you this before about Sprout, and you said maybe an upset team, probably not going to be able to do too much more than that. Cloud9, do you think these guys could maybe edge into the top 10 one day?
Yeah, I think so. It's a ballsy statement, dare I say. It's a statement I can't really back up with too much facts either. But I just have the feeling that it's the new generation. It's a team that is hungry. It's a team that is given a good chance, to represent Cloud9, one of the biggest organizations out there. It's a lot of pressure, but it seems like they're treating it with respect. They're practicing hard, they're playing hard, they're putting in a lot of hours, and they conduct themselves very professionally as well in such a young age. I just see so many positive signs surrounding this lineup that potentially, I could see them move into, the top 15, the top 10. Whether that's going to be in 2020 or we'll have to wait a few years and a few roster changes maybe as well, that's too early to tell. But I think, the whole chemistry and the professionalism they're conducting themselves, at least in the medias and in how they do the interviews and all that kind of stuff is to me very impressive already.
Yeah, because the reason I asked that is when we were looking at the ESL Pro Tour information at the start of the stream, we saw the top 20, 25 teams ranked. And I think Cloud9 were around the 19th, and they were plus 26 positions. So it goes to show the kind of meteoric rise that these guys have had. And as you say, now they're at an event where they're playing peers, they're playing other teams that aren't going to be as simple to barrel over. They've already beaten some of those teams, of course, in the past, like you said, but now it's another chance to show the world what they're capable of.
It's going to be incredibly tough for them to live up to it, yeah, for sure. I think we have a little technical issue. We'll be right back after the break.
Ya no sé cómo te explico otra vez tu corazón frío, tus modales me dejan sin palabras. Ya no sé cómo te explico. Eres incapaz de ver otro lado. Así que bye, 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 quédate solito. Ay, ay, no, te necesito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Ay, ay, no, te necesito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Resistí pegarte de gritos, porque así evito argumentos, tus excusas por no pedir disculpas. Resistí pegarte de gritos. Ya no sé cuántas chances te he dado, pobre de ti por ser complicado. Eres incapaz de ver otro lado. Así que bye, 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 quédate solito. Ay, ay, no, te necesito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Ay, ay, no, te necesito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Quédate solito. Quédate solito, niño. Quédate solito. No te necesito. No te necesito, niño. Quédate solito, sí. Así que bye, 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 quédate solito. Ay, ay, no, te necesito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Ay, ay, no, te necesito. Bye, 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 quédate solito. Quédate solito. Te digo.
Immer wieder weitergehen, immer wieder neu aufstehen. Jeden Morgen, jeden neuen Tag, immer wieder weitergehen. Wenn der Weg am steilsten ist, wenn die Sonne brennt, wenn es viel weit in der Ferne liegt, wo dich niemand kennt, du bist schon so lange unterwegs, jeder Schritt tut weh. Und warum das alles kannst nur du verstehen. Immer wieder weitergehen, immer wieder neu aufstehen. Jeden Morgen, jeden neuen Tag. Immer wieder weitergehen, immer wieder neu aufstehen. Nur der Weg zählt nicht, wo du mal warst. Immer wieder weitergehen.
We are back, and fingers crossed that everything is going to go A-OK. For our third best of one, there's a lot of questions to be answered and a lot of queries ahead of us between Renegades and Cloud9. I can't wait to get into the game.
Me neither. Me neither. I think it's two teams that they're going to show us some good stuff, aren't they, right? We know Renegades. We've seen them play at some of the big tournaments. They've been qualifying from the Oceanic region for quite some time to some of the biggest tournaments out there, also the majors for that matter, when they were playing within their own region. Whereas for Cloud9, it's such a new team, right? We haven't seen that much of them. What we saw at the Pro League finals in Odense when they were playing under the brand ATK, that was impressive. That was super well playing. They beat G2 in a best of 3. They kicked them out of the tournament. That was after G2 almost took down Astralis in a best of 3. So there's some quality behind this lineup, and there's definitely a lot of skill behind it. Question is, as you said before, it's a new mental game. Now they are somewhat, not necessarily the favorites coming into a tournament like this, but they can proudly say that we expect to go into a semi-final or maybe even a final. And how's that pressure going to change the way they play? Or is it even going to change the way they play?
Yeah, especially when you consider that VP were looking so lackluster and just so incredibly rough, honestly, just half asleep in that first game of the day. Now, of course, you expect that they are going to bounce back and learn more from that loss than they would necessarily, you know, win. But still, I feel like this tournament is kind of ripe for the taking for any of these teams potentially to step up and just grab it with both hands.
I definitely agree. I don't think you can look at one team and say, all right, this team is not going to win it. Then after what we've seen today, maybe Sprout is that one outlier where I think it's maybe a little bit too early for that roster to go the entire distance, especially considering we're moving into the best of 3 scenarios as well in the lower bracket and in the semifinals for that matter. But I agree with the sentiment that every single team that turned up for this particular tournament has a realistic shot of making a semi-final. And if you're in the semi-final, you can also go to the final. And you know, Vince, if you're in the final, there's a chance you're winning.
There always is, absolutely. You always have a puncher's chance, but it's even more than that now that we have these points up for grabs. If you get through to the semis, well, you're still getting something out of it. You're actually still maintaining and pushing towards a future with the ESL Pro Tour. And of course, if you do end up winning this, then you automatically qualify for the next Masters, which is huge.
It's huge, especially for these teams, right? If you're North, that'll be a dream scenario. You don't have to grind out too many tournaments in order to acquire too many points to get the qualifying or get the invites for some of those big tournaments, you know. And same goes on for a team like Cloud9. They already qualified for Katowice, have a chance of taking some more points to the Pro Tour, that one. But if they also win this one and get the spot straight into the next Masters, then again, it's starting to pan well for them. The DreamHack Masters Open tournament this year is going to be insane, right? There's going to be so many great teams attending, every single one of them. And as said, you know, this time around we have 6, potentially 7, maybe even 8 teams who realistically can say we have a shot of making a semi-final. And we haven't had that at the DreamHack Opens for quite some time. So I'm a big fan of this new structure, and I hope that all the teams out there are enjoying it as well.
I'm sure they absolutely are. This may very much propel some of these teams that are on the periphery around that top 20 mark to maybe dart into the top 10 to actually start to claim some more scalps, because as you say, these events are about to become very stacked. In the past, you maybe had 3 or 4 very solid teams, and you had some more of these up-and-coming teams. It's not going to be quite the same case now. So there's still opportunities there for the upcoming teams, but you know you're going to be swimming with sharks as soon as you get to the event.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because let's not forget the last Open we had last year. That was North who won that one. And again, it was a nice result for North, but what happened straight after that tournament? They kicked the player, brought back MSL. They weren't even satisfied with winning that tournament. Whereas if they come into this one, looking at how stacked this tournament is, and if they could end up winning this one, I'm pretty sure they'd say that is a great result. That's something we can be proud of. Whereas for the last one, that was something you'd expect from North, because they were supposed to be the better team. So I agree with you. It's definitely put the DreamHack Opens on the landmark as well. It's giving it a lot more credit, I would say. You know, a lot more, you know, empathy on winning a tournament like this. There's a lot of prize money as well, 50K. That's not a small amount of money for some of these teams as well. So there's a lot on stake, and as you said, it's simply too early to tell who's going to take this one. I think what we've seen so far today, North looked super crisp in that win against Sprout, and then as you said, Virtus Pro, very disappointing against Big.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say out of those two, obviously we've only seen the 2 games, but Big played well. I think it was more VP just really having an off day, though. Not to take anything away from Big. I mean, Tabs in particular was absolutely ridiculous. He was leading the charge. I think he finished with like 25 kills, somewhere around that mark. And the game only ended 16-8, so he didn't even get a chance to play the full regulation rounds. But yeah, North were just a different level. Sprout were a little bit off the boil, I think it's safe to say, but North looked really good. Never love to see players with headsets off. That's always a bit of a worrying sign. So in terms of Renegades and the Australian scene, the New Zealand scene, are there any teams or players that you've got your eye on right now?
I got my eye on Renegades because I want to see them do well. I think, you know, in order to have a strong scene, in order to have a strong, you know, region within this game, I think you need some sort of a food chain. We have that in Denmark. When you look towards Astralis, they are the #1 team undisputedly. Every single time there was a good player from Dignitas or some of the second best teams in the Danish scene, well, Astralis just knocked on the door and picked them off. Tried it plenty of times. Unfortunately, they never knocked on my door. But AC, for an example, when he was playing really well, he was brought into what became Astralis. When Cajun B had a good period, he was brought into Astralis, right? So they picked the best players, and now finally Astralis, they got the best possible team they can have. But in Denmark, I would like it to be the same thing for that region as well. You have 100 Thieves right now. They are the best team within that region without a doubt. They're doing super, super well. But if a team like Renegades can foster some of the best players outside of that team, then at some point, if 100 Thieves wants to be the best team in the world, they'll have to pick some of the best from the second best team in the world. And that's how it works, that's the food chain. And I think that's a great and healthy system and way things works. Obviously, it sucks for the teams that are not, on top of the food chain. You can argue that Hunton, for an example, with his, former teams have had a lot of those situations where his best players got snatched up by Heroic and some of the second tier in Denmark. But now we finally found a team that is potentially even better than them. So that's probably not going to happen anymore. But that's, that's the competition, and that's what drives people into, the ambition of getting to a better team. It's like if you're playing football, you're playing for Chelsea. I'm sure a lot of the Chelsea players, they would love to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona one day.
Hazard.
Hazard.
Well, already did it.
Yep.
He's off.
Well, too bad, huh? Still hurts.
Oh, yeah, you are a Chelsea fan. Could be worse. You could be a Newcastle fan.
You could be a Newcastle fan, yeah.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, you had Benitez for a while. That was nice, huh?
And, you did touch on Hunden there. We just saw him at catering beforehand, getting ready with the rest of the troops. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, for the longest time, he was kind of the farming team. He was the guy that kind of brought up these younger players, and they went on to greener pastures. Well, we're now in a kind of an interesting position in the Danish scene where Mad Lions are actually just as good as the teams that were stealing from them before. What kind of dynamic does that reach now? Like, how far can this Mad Lions team reasonably go? Is this a flash in the pan, or are they here to stay, do you think?
I think they're here to stay. I think they showed that they have consistently been performing at a very high level. We saw them last year in Budapest at the V4, I think it was the V4 Sports Festival, where they won the entire thing. Surprisingly enough, they won against Virtus Pro, a tournament where MIBR was attending. There was a decent amount of good teams. So that was the first time we saw them. At that time, I thought, okay, this is the ceiling. This is the peak of this lineup. But ever since, they've been playing better and better. They've been qualifying for some of the big tournaments on a consistent basis. They're beating some of the teams that are ranked higher than them, and they're always, scary to play against. They haven't been able to fully redo what they did at the V4 Sports Festival, and I believe it was at the Schönköping, where they was in the final against Force at the DreamHack Open tournament, DreamHack Winter. It's a final performance, but they didn't win it, right? And that's what they need. They need to take that next step before they truly can't be considered to be the second best Danish team. I know that there's, a lot of talks right now going on within the Danish scene. Is it Heroic? Is it North? Is it Mad Lions? And I think they're all pretty equal as of right now, but North are supposed to be the second best. They have the infrastructure to be so. They have the biggest organization behind them. They have the better salaries. They arguably have the better players, but as of late, Heroic have been playing well, Mad Lions have been playing well, and I don't see a skill ceiling on either of those teams as of right now as well. So if North want to reclaim the position as being the second best Danish team, they'll have to earn it, and they'll have to fight against a well-playing Heroic and a well-playing Mad Lions.
And I suppose that's the thing, with North's performance and MSL really laying down the gauntlet, now it turns to Heroic, now it turns to Mad Lions and say, right, your turn, show us what you've got. Can you keep up with that?
Hopefully.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens later.
It is interesting, and there's so many players right now, and you think... You think before it was a thing of having the second best Danish team in North, you picked up Yuki, right? You're snatching the best players from the lower ranks. That's not going to happen anymore. Now you have established teams. You have 4 established teams. So if you want to find new players within the Danish region, you have to go down to team number 5 or team number 6. That's how deep the map pool is right now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I think we still have some technical issues, so we're going to head back to a break, and when you rejoin us, fingers crossed, we will be live.
Hasta que se haga temprano.
All right, we are back. A bit sooner than anticipated, but that's good news, because that means Counter-Strike is just round the corner. Cloud9, Renegades, best of one. And we're going to have to see how this second group starts today. Obviously, we've already casted 2 games, both pretty one-sided, hoping for something a bit closer now.
Yeah, I would love to see a close game here. We're getting into it. It's going to be on the map of Overpass. It's going to be between Cloud9 and Renegades. We're going to have Renegades starting on the CT side, Cloud9 on the attacking T side. JT, Floppy both invested into a grenade set, Molotov flashes, smokes. And they want to head towards this B bomb side. Question is, are Renegades prepared for it? They have 3, no, actually only 2 guys over here. 3 guys, Malta, playing the heaven position. And there we go. The hit is going to come in. He's going to be smoked off. It's going to be up to Ints now.
Oh, no one's checking short. Nobody is looking at that position at all. He's already ripped through 2. This is alleviating the pressure from the other angles, and Hats is going to put down Floppy. Bomb still has not been planted. And OC is running out of HP. 2 left to his name. Make it 0. And JT is going to go the same way. It's a clean sweep. So much damage inflicted to the CTs, but all 5 remain.
That was beautiful by Ints right there. Yes, they didn't check short, but he instantly got 2 kills right there. They didn't even have a chance of getting the refrag onto him, and then he stayed alive. He waited for his teammates, and the backup came in. Very well played by Renegades, very well played by Ints. And that's exactly the start they would have hoped for, not losing a single guy as well. Look at all the utility they got. Got a couple of MP9s, got a FAMAS, got an M4 and a Scout. This is pretty much what you want. A rush coming in from Cloud9 though. Sonic getting the kill with the CC, now it's up to Hat. Can he get it? Struggling with the 3rd one, getting it, connecting it, and there we go. Stabilizing, getting a 4th kill as well, and the 5th with the USB. Ints came in and helped him, but that was very well played as well. For a second there, I thought, oh, this could go bad, but they calmed down, they stabilized, and we got another round going the way of Renegades.
Man, Hats has got to have a guardian angel. I have no idea how he didn't die there. He was under so much pressure. But as you say, MP9 spray down in effect. Just pistols with a flashbang, really nothing invested into the round on the side of Cloud9.
It's the same scenario for this one. A few couple of P250s, a flash. That's about it for Cloud9. Playing it conservative, not investing too much into it. JT taking some damage as well. Realistically speaking, this is going to be a round where they're just going to hope to do as much damage as possible. If they can get a kill or maybe even 2, and there we go. That's the first one. Dexter going down, being caught off guard. Sicko in a rough position there with a Scout as well. He goes down to Floppy, and all of a sudden we have a 5 versus 3 wins.
They're charging on the side, but this is where Inns could just put them all to rest. So many players are low, 1 bullet away from death, barring Sonic. They've taken some of the guns away from Renegades. Going to use them against the oncoming retake. They're starting to take shape. Inns, 6 kills already to his name. Floppy holding the close angle with the FAMAS. JT in bathrooms, waiting, anticipating a play through there, but OC's gone down, as will Floppy. JT suddenly, in the blink of an eye, is the last man standing, and a Glock at that range is going to do nothing against armor. So Renegades do get the successful retake, but considering the lack of buy there from Cloud9, that's mission accomplished. 2 kills on a bomb plant, they'll definitely take that.
That was a very successful round for Renegades. At one point I thought, oh, this could be it. They could actually lose this. So yeah, Renegades playing maybe a bit too aggressive. Dexter getting caught off guard alone, then leaving Sicko up to his own as well with a Scout in that position is not optimal at all. So they got away with it. Cloud9, they got a bomb plant, and now look at the buy they're coming in with. SGs, 5 pieces, full utility. It cannot get any stronger, can it?
This buy is looking very deadly indeed, but Renegades have been up to the task thus far. Early damage across to JT. Hats is taking some short control. Nade going to be tossed into connector. No one's got home just yet, though, from Cloud9. They've already pushed up to the other side where Sicko is watching.
He's watching aggressively. Not giving a lot of space for the Cloud9 guys to take Suez control. Want to make sure that that short area is covered. Now Monster is also open, and Martin is just going to walk in, and he's going to be caught off guard with a smoke. He was not expecting that at Cloud9. All of a sudden exploding into this B bomb site. Left up to Hat. He's going down this time around, and there we go. Despite even having a team kill going his way, Martin gets another one, and that's it. That's round done and dusted. There's nothing Renegades can do about this. Dexter calls the save straight away. Sicko follows up. And that was quite unorthodox from Cloud9. All of a sudden, I wasn't expecting it either. Just fully explosion into the B bomb site, and you saw the consequence. Malta was caught off guard, completely smoke in his hand, and that's it. Sometimes Counter-Strike doesn't have to be complicated. You can just be aggressive, catch the right timing, and round over.
Yeah, sometimes teams have a tendency to overcomplicate things. We saw VP doing this earlier today on Inferno on their T side. Simple, steady, and direct. And Renegades now going to feel the pinch of that previous round where they lost 2 players. Now, with the 2 safe guns, they may very well still buy up. They've got hats down to 5.4K. They can afford to drop 2 guns, but yeah, very good entries with the SG.
Great response from the Cloud9 guys. We got a bit of a timeout or a pause coming in here. Now for Renegades, they lost a lot of players in the beginning, right? They had a few rounds where they took more casualties than you'd like. They can still buy into this round. They got to save those 2 weapons, so the economy is still in a fine place. But at this point, you know, whoever wins this next round is going to put themselves in a prime position to take the lead in this game, to overtake the momentum, so to speak. So still, as we've been seeing in the 2 other games as well, I feel both games that we casted so far today has been identical. In the beginning, it's going a big back and forth, you know, both teams have a chance, and then at a certain point you see one of them just drag off, you know, and take it home. So as you said before, I would love if we could have an entire game where it's a bit back and forth.
Yeah, we haven't really been able to experience one so far. We've had close beginnings, and then one team clearly got their noses ahead and stayed that way. The front runners have typically won today. At the moment, it would seem to suggest that Renegades could be that team, but again, as you say, their economy's low. The momentum of that last round shifted thoroughly in favor of Cloud9. Dexter, aggression in connector, isn't completely alone. He does have Sicko, who's up watching middle, but he is going to have to take this fight alone for the time being before the cavalry can arrive, and he's done a great job, actually losing no health, going back in for more, and picks up both kills single-handedly.
Beautiful stuff by Dexter. Very well played, also aware that there could be some guys from Cloud9 pushing from behind, putting a smoke down in connection, he's staying alive. Sicko follows up with an AWP kill, now it's up to Floppy. And OC getting the opening here on Malta. He's been struggling a little bit on the B bomb side. It's now left complete open, but it is 4-man against 2. It'd be incredible if they can turn this one around. I highly doubt it, but there's a chance now, Vince. Bomb goes down. OC is trying to look for a kill, and he gets this. Nice shot by him, but Sicko takes down Floppy, and now it's all up to OC.
Smokes are going to stave off the initial charge, but they are going to start to clear. There is a kit in the hands of Sicko. 2 kills to OC. Tagged down to 31, but he's landing nothing but headshots. OC so very close. What a valiant attempt. But the last hurdle proved to be the steepest for him, and Renegades will get the clutch.
Wow, what a clutch that would have been to bring back a round 2 against 5. That was super, super well played by OC. He almost got it. Almost gave Cloud9 a way back into this round. That kill right there, even though it's with the SG, that requires a lot of precision. Instantly aiming into it. That one as well, it's so fast and so crisp. That one right there just misses a little bit, and Hearts gets the kill. Now, 4-1 for Renegades. Another buy run coming in from Cloud9, but after this one, their money is going to slowly but surely run out. They obviously have the loss bonus going for them, but if they want to keep buying up with all the utility, they'll have to win this one. OC taking a lot of damage here, going down to 47 HP. Great start once again by Renegades, and you can see complete different from what we saw from Virtus Pro, for an example. They're playing aggressive, they're trying to take map control away from Cloud9. They're not gifting them anything at all.
That's one of the luxuries that Overpass also affords CT sides. So Dexter and Connector last round, now pushing up long. Meanwhile though, on short, they are playing a little bit more patiently. Sicko with the peek down long, nothing forthcoming as of yet. If someone is going to peek him, it'll likely be JT, who is just watching the back. Flashbang into peek. Sicko's going to be called upon and does miss out on his chance, but Dexter on the tree will chop down the JT, and now they can pull back to the site. And there's no huge aggression really being thrown in from Cloud9. You got MOTM going aggressively into bathrooms, but he's already decided against it as a Molotov in his eyes.
Oh, and look at that. Dexter is in a good position. He can hear that. He can call the rotation to the teammates, and you can instantly see the reaction. Dexter pushing up. He knows it's going to be towards B. The entire team of Renegades knows it's going to be towards B. Cloud9, they're kind of outplaying themselves. They're getting a little bit too hesitant getting into it. Malta is ready and waiting. Dexter getting a kill. Oh, not connecting the shots. Nice double entry from Sonic, and there we go. All of a sudden, the B bomb side is open.
Oh, Dexter's position is the nuts, though. This is surely the round-winning position, but he's actually not done as much as he was hoping. Has stalled a bit more time. Sonic, 5 seconds, doesn't have time for the plant anyway. They're going to peek just to make sure he's not planting. Information gathered, back away. All 3 players will remain alive, but Renegades now off to a 5-1 lead.
That's been the story of the game so far. Even though Cloud9 are getting outplayed, which I will say they are, they have the individual skill to almost pull it back every single time. Sonic with a nice double entry right here. Again, a round that they had no business even getting close to winning. Same as before, where OC got the 4K with the SG. Super, super close to pulling it back for Cloud9. So even though they're getting outplayed right now, even though it's 5-1, it's been a few rounds that's been very, very close. Once again, a lot of manpower towards this B bomb side. Melter up and close with the MP9. Money is still short on both teams. This is, again, a game-breaking round for both teams, especially for Renegades. They don't have a loss bonus at all. If they lose this one, they will be on an eco. Plain and simple. So Cloud9, they're putting on pressure despite not winning the rounds.
Yeah, that economy, though, it has shimmied in both directions. Both teams are feeling the pinch. Smoke's being deployed into Monster. Counteracted Molotovs, flashes, smokes, everything being tossed in. And Dexter, he's whiffed his chance, but the rest of his team are standing tall and delivering. Inns, Malta, Hats, all chipping in with kills. Some damage has been returned, though, but OC will burn alive. A barbecue to end the round. Renegades continue to press forward.
Once again, Cloud9, read like a book. Renegades had all the rotations coming into their favor. They had 3 guys positioned on the B bomb side. They had a perfect setup to deal with what was coming for Cloud9. To me, it seems like Cloud9 is a bit surprised that they've been read this well. I think Renegades have really played well. They put out the manpower exactly where they wanted it to be. Dexter, he's been aggressive towards long, as you said. He's been aggressive towards Connector. This time around, he got out of Connector. He missed the kill, but he was still, he was still aggressive. He still held the man back. And at that point, he knew exactly what was going on. So again, 6-1 for Renegades. It looked one-sided, and it has been one-sided in the sense that I think Renegades are a step or 2 ahead of Cloud9 right now. But individually speaking, and in terms of firepower on the server, I would even go as far as saying that Cloud9 have the equal amount right now. Inns obviously sitting at 10 frags. Hats have a good start as well. But apart from that, it's been the Cloud9 players who's had the most flashy moments so far.
They've got close a couple of rounds, but they haven't quite sealed the deal.
That nade there from Sicko, that's the second time we see that. Just takes 2 players down to half HP. That's a good one. One of you guys could definitely adapt into the matchmaking of the faces you're playing at home. It's so annoying to start off the round with half HP, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Favin definitely feeling that from that Dust 2 game. MSL had his number. But yeah, $300 well spent. Every single cent was worth it. Meanwhile, 1 smoke, 1 nade, 1 flashbang. Cloud9 really scraping the bottom of the barrel in round 9. Or round 8, pardon me. Smoke over. There is a player, though, on long. That's going to be Dexter. Again, mixing his playstyle up. It's had to get the better of Sonic. Now Dexter's called upon. A lot of damage inflicted. That is going to be an assault rifle at Trade's hands. And MOTM does have some armor, so maybe there is a way back into this round.
Maybe there is, but we'll have to see that now. 40 seconds left. JT is down to 13 HP. Floppy only with a P250. It's going to be up to Modem. Got a kill already. Got the M4 in hand. He's the one who has to open up this B-bomb side. Malta has been struggling a little bit, staying alive. This time around, though, he takes down JT. Goes down to Modem, but he's done his job. Another kill. That's a triple kill from this guy. 18 seconds. Bomb at hand. Oh, almost connecting that shot to Inns as well. It's getting close every single round, right? Even the rounds where you're thinking, all right, Renegades, you should survive 4 or 5 guys here. They They still die. There's still some individual plays coming out of the Cloud9 players, and that's exactly what I tried to alert to before, that even though it is 7-1, even though as the tactical aspect of the game, Renegades is far ahead right now of Cloud9, the individuals from Cloud9 have shown up on the server. It's nothing to do with the aiming, nothing to do with not winning your duels. They just need to find a game plan that can punish them and utilize that the aim is on point right now.
That's one thing that will continue to give them confidence, not just because they're keeping the economy low of Renegades with getting 2 or 3 players here and there, but they've never completely been out of a round. It's almost the polar opposite of what we saw in the previous game between Sprout and North, where it was 16-4 and it absolutely was a 16-4 game. I feel like on another day, this is easily like a 5-3 scoreline, and it's completely open for debate. Sicko's gone down, not for the first time. On the banana side, Dexter, again, shifting positions. He is so versatile and adaptive. He's constantly going to catch them off guard. He actually tries to push through the smoke, but that flashbang hit him. That alerts them to his presence. He's now absolutely screwed. And it's Floppy that takes him down. That's so unfortunate. If the flash doesn't hit him, I think that rotation potentially works.
I agree. That was very unlucky from Dexter. Once again, aggressive, not panning out for him. Instant well aggressive, hitting that shot. Having a second one coming from him. That is some stellar aiming coming in from Inst. Sitting at 13 kills, bringing it back for Renegades. 3 versus 3 as this A hit is coming in.
Crossfire there, but there is actually a smoke in the eyes of the long player, but no one checks the truck. And they're going to line up for Inst. So nearly sprays them both down. OC only on a low HP amount. And he will be finalized by Hats, but wouldn't you know it, a Pimp, once again, 1 player left alive for Renegades.
It's so close every single round, but what a round from Inst, and what a start to this game it's been for this guy. A guy we don't talk that much about. We know he's a skilled player, we know what he can do, but that right there, that's some crisp aiming, that's just superb Counter-Strike. That's when you're feeling it, that's when you're really having a good game, so that's gonna be a Rory for Cloud9. There's one individual at the very least from Renegades who's stepping up and playing at the same level as the rest of the guys from Cloud9. That is Inst sitting at 14 frags already. 9 rounds into the game. That's super, super impressive. Cloud9 deciding to go for more default now. Not banking all the members at one side of the map. Been struggling to gain map control. They haven't had A control. They haven't had toilet control, long control, and then done a proper execute on A, for example. And that's down to the constant aggression coming in from Renegades. They're simply not allowing them to do so, but they need to win those duels. They need to pressure Renegades back, and then we need to see the execute coming in. Once again, Dexter, not necessarily being aggressive here, but it's the mid-round aggression that counts on Overpass, and he's ready for it.
Absolutely. They've mixed it up again by playing passive this time. And you can see Cloud9 are really respecting this. They're taking their sweet time to get into these positions. They've already expended a lot of their utility. They only have 1 smoke left. It's just been tossed out. 2 flashes. Dexter again catching them, completely unaware. And this time it's 2 kills. That could be the round-winning moment. Sicko knows the player slow peeking him. He bides his time and waits. And JT, surely not long for this world. Maybe he can take some CTs with him or not. 9-1.
It's starting to look very, very grim for Cloud9. And as you said before, it's a weird game. It hasn't really been close, let's be honest. Renegades have been on point, the aggression, the stacks on the bomb sides, the CT side has been stellar. The individuals have shown up. So Renegades is playing at a very high level, I would say right now. We gotta give them that credit. Cloud9 have only made it close because the individuals have stepped up afterwards. It's not the approach to the game for Cloud9. The game plan coming into this one is definitely not working. They're not getting the openings. They're not getting any favorable positions at all. That's all up to Renegades, but the individuals have kept them close in the game. Have kept some of the rounds close, but if you're not winning them, it doesn't matter anyway. So right now, Cloud9, they can't keep relying on the individuals. They need to find a game plan that works. They need to find a hole in this defense. If they can't do that, I'm afraid we're going to see a very loop-sided game here. And this is getting grim now. This is getting a bit ugly. I don't think Cloud9 deserves this with the individual level they're putting up. But if you're not getting the rounds in the boards, then what are you going to do, Vince?
Yeah, close doesn't really mean anything in Counter-Strike.
Doesn't that?
At the end of the day, all that matters is that score at the top of the screen, and it could be ebbing 1 step closer for Renegades. They could be hitting double digits already. It's short pressure, short aggression, but now the CTs are more than capable of burdening that. And indeed, we have hit the 10-1 score, and I mean, we had a couple close rounds, but it's starting to just slip away.
It is starting to slip away, and at this point, you'd say that even though Renegades were to lose the last 4 rounds of this first half, it will still be a great half. 10 rounds on the CT side on Overpass is fine. It is a CT-sided map, but we've seen as of late, you know, pretty much every single map in Counter-Strike can be T-sided when you have the SG at hand and when you have the right game plan going for you. Even a map like Nuke, it's not unheard of to see 6, 7, maybe even sometimes 8 T rounds. Same is definitely the case for Overpass. So Cloud9, this is the last call. If you want in on this game, if you want to stand a chance of making the comeback, now is the time. We need to see you put some rounds on the board. Otherwise, I'm afraid, on behalf of all you American fans, that Renegades, they're going to run away with this one relatively easy. Once again, Dexter being aggressive, Sonic not able to catch that jump. Close, but that's been the story of the game. Just close.
That pretty much is the summary thus far, but maybe Cloud9 can start to capitalize and they can start to take some of these rounds and really make them theirs. I'd love to see them just barrel down here and get a really convincing round, get some confidence, but it's Dexter again, baiting Sicko's shot. They run straight past him and don't check the tree. And now Floppy, he's seen this script one too many times. Dexter may be telegraphing that push, but it's still at the cost of 3 lives from Cloud9.
It's a bit too late that he read that one, that's for sure. 2 against 4 players from Renegades once again, and they're set up perfectly fine. 2 players on each side, that should be enough. I like they're spreading out, they're not taking any risk, they're playing defensively. Backup can come in fast if needed. We need to see some nice shots being hit by Floppy or Sonic for that matter. The first one comes in here and that's it. Inns goes down and now Sicko's being pressured back on this bomb side and then get the bomb plant as well. So there's a chance here for Cloud9 to bring this one back. And it's over.
That chance has just been cut thoroughly short by Hats. And Sicko will clean up the rest. I don't know if you'd agree with this statement, Pimp, but watching Cloud9 at the moment, it seems to me be more of like a Puggy style of their T side. There's not really any huge strats or set plays or anything that's really catching your eye. It just feels like they're trying to take that individual skill and run with it too much.
I definitely agree, and I think it's a two-way street in the sense that they're being pressured to do so. I think the constant aggression coming out from Dexter, he's in connection, he's towards A-Long, he's towards toilets, he's doing some mid-round aggression, you know. They have to be on the toes at all times, so it's super, super tough to set up and execute on a map like Overpass if you're not gifted the map space to do so. And I think Renegades is doing one hell of a job denying Cloud9 that. So yes, I agree, a little bit too much puck style, but at this point it's like they're being forced into doing so because they're not gifted any room and they're not winning the duels in the beginning of the rounds. Once again, Malta taking down JT, and at this point it seems like it's just a reoccurring trend. Dexter again aggressive in connection, and at this point, right, what are you going to do if you're Cloud9? If you're not winning those duels, you're going to lose the map and you're going to lose the game.
That's pretty much how things have gone to this point. 3v5, they haven't really had any success in these situations. They've got it close, but not converted. Molotov, smoke. OTM through the monster, may be able to get the drop, but his position now is compromised. That being said, they're being pushed on short as well. Sonic with 2. One of the best chances we've seen for Cloud9 in quite a while. Molotov onto Graffiti. This is isolating Inns from the rest of his team, but it has been smoked off. They're okay to concede the bomb plant. Economy's not really an issue right now. As we're getting close to the end of this half, Sicko is hoping, anticipating a pixel to peek round the pillar. So he can take it down. Flashbangs coming through now. And Inns going for that peek. He's made some noise, and OC comes out ahead on that trade. Dexter finally going to put him down. The bomb ticking away in amongst all of this. It's starting to get dangerously low for the CTs. Sonic comes in with another one. It was a 3v5, and Sonic comes out springing with a 4K and gives Cloud9 a little bit of hope.
Maybe a little bit of hope is all they need to get back into this game. This was the first time we saw them actually win a round. They made close. Sonic with another nice double entry right here, making it all possible, getting the 3rd one and 4th one as well. Beautiful round by the South American player. Now, Cloud9, they need to win the last 2 rounds. You know, 2 rounds is not going to be enough. That's going to be too much wiggle room for Renegades. So unless they can string a few rounds together here, I'm still going to say that this game is almost over. Dexter again, new position, top connector. Are they going to expect it? The answer is no. Getting the 1st frag, not able to connect the 2nd one. Nice refrag there again. Instantly re-aggression, instantly trade frag it. Hearts getting it. And at this point, again, Cloud9 struggling down 3 against 4. It's been the same story over and over again. the constant aggression coming in from Renegades, they simply cannot handle it.
Cloud9 must be hating Dexter right now. He is everywhere and nowhere all at once. It's so strange to watch.
He's a player that is just annoying to play against, right? You feel you can win a duel against him, but when he's constantly surprising you, it becomes hard. Seiko, again, he's not had the best game though, let's be fair. He's been going down a few times too many in these advantageous situations. Floppy and OC has a chance once again of bringing this one back. Another kill goes the way of Cloud9, and all of a sudden we have a 2 versus 2. Again, a possibility for Cloud9. Renegades, do not let this one slip out of your hands. That would be stupid. Cloud9 playing well. Malta getting the refrag as well. Now, ooh, OC is not aware that he's being flanked, and that's it. Another round for Renegades. Another kill for Hearts. He's at 16 as well. A very, dare I say, anonymous game in terms of him being at 16 kills. It's all been about Inst and all been about Dexter, but there's a guy on your team with also 16 kills. So it's tough right now for Cloud9, right? They're making it close. Another round, they had no business winning. They get close, but yet they lose anyway. At some point, it's getting heartbreaking, isn't it?
It's rough out here on the mean streets of Overpass, that's for sure. Cloud9, we're full of confidence, full of high hopes coming into Leipzig. They may have been momentarily dashed. They will still have the CT side to play with, though, of course. If they can maybe pick up 3 in the pistol, it's a lot of maybes, ifs, and buts. And Renegade is going to be switching it up again. This time aggression from Sicko on the balloons. Nothing forthcoming, so he just backs off.
See Cloud9, they're not willing to play fast-paced anymore. They tried in the beginning of the game, hitting the B-bomb side with some surprising attacks. It actually worked out one round, but they've steered away from that. As of late, they're going to do that now. Sicko as well in a position. He's been somewhat aggressive, semi-aggressive, as I like to clarify it, but he hasn't really been successful with it. This guy, though, on your screen, he's the one that's been aggressive all over the map. And now, once again, not necessarily aggressive in this scenario, but again, he's ready for it, right? It's the mid-round aggression. He's putting himself in a position where one flash can help him out, one teammate, and all of a sudden Dexter is in a good position to get a few kills. So they have to be aware of it. And it's so annoying.
Flash into peak. No information actually gathered. As MOTM just on the wrong side of the bathrooms. Molotov also put in. T's haven't budged an inch. They are slowly but surely now starting to move up. But the key word being slowly. 30 seconds left to play with, and Dexter's patience does yield a kill. There will be no second kill reaped, though. And Sicko now passively at the back of the site is going to strike for one. In's position now compromised, and 2 separate angles to watch out for. And the last CT is Malta, who's still on the B site. So it's looking good for Cloud9 to get a 3rd round. They're going to pick that up, but still trail 12-3.
Yeah, we'll have to see after the break if they are able to make the comeback. We'll be right back with you.
So fun. Today's such a perfect day. We'll be fine, fine, fine. If tomorrow's half as good as today, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. If tomorrow's half as good as today,
Hola Dior,
A feast for Renegades, famine for Cloud9. 12-3, but now they get the luxury, depending on how this pistol round goes, of the CT side. Yeah, you have to feel here, Pimp, if they lose this pistol, they're already 1 foot out of this game.
I would say so. That would pretty much be game over at this point. I think Renegades have played too well for me to visualize that they're just going to fall down altogether as a team and as a unit. Every single player has had moments. The team itself have been playing well. Same is the story for Cloud9, though. I don't think, that the individuals of Cloud9 haven't stepped up. We've seen some plays from Sonic. We've seen plays from OC. We saw Modem having a good round as well. The individual skill is there. Now, question is, can they enable that on this CT side? Can they win this pistol? Because as I said, with no pistol, I agree with you. 1 foot is out of the game, and that's not the start you want if you're Cloud9. You're already down 12-3.
There's going to be aggression on B. Molotov flashbangs. JT is being burned alive alongside OC. But JT holds his ground for 2. 6 HP separates him and the grave. But he is going to push his way back out. Dexter, though, is going to close the lid on the coffin. And MOTM now is trying to save the life, apply the defib. But it's been turned around alongside the Glock of Sicko. 13-3. Oh dear.
For a brief moment, I thought it was going to go the way of Cloud9. JT with the double USP kill. Staying alive in pit, but unfortunately for him, no backup, no help, and he was too low on the HP in order to do more. So a valiant effort from him, not enough though. Now we look at the Hail Mary buy coming out from Cloud9. They're investing everything they have into this round. Scout, MP9s, pistol, and a little bit of utility. If they lose this one, it's going to be a walk in the park for Renegades. Aggression towards short. Malta could be caught off guard. I think he's aware here that there may be some aggression. Not sure that's a good duel for him to take. It's not, and there we go. Sonic gets the kill. Ends with the instant trade frag. Sonic with another one. And he's going to keep pushing and keep pushing. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but hell, if you got 2 kills and you're feeling it, why not? 3 versus 3, I think this is a great start to the round for Cloud9. The more chaotic they can make this, the better.
The only downside is the corpses that they have created are in short pipe. They can't get their hands on those guns that have fallen as much as they desperately wish they could. So there's no nades or guns have really traded hands. So they're pretty bare still. P250, Scout, and MP9 against 3 assault rifles with plenty of nades.
It's not often you see 3 Galils in play in such a round. It's obviously cheaper. You can buy head armor. You can have utility behind you. So the reasoning behind it is definitely they value the utility. But at this point, 3 versus 3, kind of locked into a corner on short. I'm not sure the Galil is the weapon that you like going up against an MP9. We'll see though if they can make it work. Inns had a great games thus far. Able to catch off Floppy. A little bit unlucky, and here we go. It's going to be the B hit.
Oh, caught with a knife out. JT, perfect timing on the peak. I'm not sure if they read it. The rest of them had rotated towards the A side, but now it comes down to the IGL. Is he going to lead by example with the Galil? He's been tagged down to 12. 10 seconds left. At least he dies before time. But Cloud9 live to fight another day.
That's it. That's what they needed. They needed 1 success on the CT side to get kick-started, and here we go. Winning this round, surviving 2 guys, putting on a lot of pressure on Renegades. They didn't get the bomb plant either, so their money is going to be in a very, very rough spot. You see right here, they're just investing a few deagles into this round, a few pistols. That's going to be about it. And we're going to see a double eco from Renegades, unless they win this round, which I highly, highly doubt. So we get a chance from Cloud9. We get a comeback as we get to see this beautiful desktop as well.
To be fair, Cloud9 would probably prefer that's what you were looking at in that first half.
Maybe that's what they have been looking at the entire game, and that's why the score is 13-4. You don't know that, Vince. You don't know.
No judgment from me.
Nope.
But hey, look, if they can wake up, VP weren't able to do it earlier today. They weren't able to mount the comeback. Maybe Cloud9, it's their turn to make something special happen. It is actually a deco. You don't often get to call That with just full deagles, nothing else. OC, though, onto Ins with the M4. No return fire is connected yet. Pico is going to get the drop on OC at the very least before he's traded out. CT's maintained the player advantage, though.
And the control of the map as well. Floppy is well aware. There's going to be a player coming out of connector, bomb down as well. I don't think he knows that he's on short, but doesn't matter. Nice adjustment from Floppy, making the FAMAS worthwhile. And here we are, Cloud9 with another round. And this one is a convincing one. It's a money-building round. If they can survive 4 guys, which they can't, because for whatever reason, thought that was a good idea. Anyway, surviving 3 guys is enough to build up some economy. So I was just about to make a point that it was well played by Cloud9, you know, surviving 4 guys, yada, yada, yada. That's super, super good. And then Sonic ruined that for me, so thank you. Yeah. Well, I hold grudges. Anyway, Cloud9 with another round. It's good. Still have money, still have full buy. Still another eco from Renegades, so they get another shot of making a convincing round here.
Zico has pushed that Molotov. They've also extinguished it. OC banks the nade off the wall, and Inns takes that on the face. Dexter, though, does put down OC. So again, it's costly at the start of the round. They're going to be able to pick up the M4 as well, because it dropped out in the open. So Hats is going to be claiming that. One of the informed players tagged up through the smoke, but it is now firmly going in favor of Cloud9. However, they know that Renegades have a buy coming up next. So well played for so far so good for Cloud9 in the second half, but things can quickly go pear-shaped if they don't pick up the rifle rounds.
Yeah, and this is now we get to see it, the first full buy round coming in for Renegades. We had to wait for it a bit, but here we go. AKs, SGs, almost full utility. Cannot ask for more. You could ask for an AWP and Zico maybe, but seems like they're opting to go with the grenades and the rifle. He can be very effective with that one as well. Good to see he's getting some grenade damage on him as well. Dexter goes down, refrag coming in from Hats. That was a nice little wallbang for Sonic. In the end, worked out in the favor of Cloud9. You have a guy on 14 HP and a killed in-game leader. Not sure I would take that trade if I were Renegades at this point. So good start to the round for Cloud9. Finally starting to build up some momentum and build up, you know, I believe in a potential comeback.
Sure, and again, going back to that first half with Cloud9 just being constantly pressured off Dexter's versatility and just appearing in the shadows all the time, you can't really emulate that as well on the T side. CTs now, Cloud9 can sit back, wait, set up into default positions, and really the pressure is on Renegades to make a move. So maybe the momentum will start to shift towards the CTs. This is a very important round, as we already highlighted, and as you said, with Dexter going down early and Hats being just a bullet away from death, that is going to slow things down somewhat.
Definitely is. Now we see MOTM pushing up towards long. Question is he going to wait for the kill here, or is he going to push into it? He's going to push into it. He's winning the duel, though, against Zico. He hasn't had the best game thus far, I'd say. So that's a very important kill for Cloud9. Now, what does Renegade do? Do they continue with this A push? They will. But I think Cloud9 is in a good position to deal with it. There's smoke covering us, Modem, but he's going down to Instant. Now it's up to OC. He's being Molotov out of position. This could be bad. JT is there with the backup. OC not able to connect, and he goes down as well. Malta finds JT, and all of a sudden we're in a 2 versus 1. It's all up to Floppy. He's going to be aggressive, running into the bomb site straight away. Almost catching Malta through the smoke. Not able quite to finish it. And at this point, it's looking rough. Getting the kill on Malta. It's a 1 versus 1. He's well aware there's a guy on long, and Inst is not able to connect it. Floppy wins the round. Another 1 versus 2 clutch coming in from this kid. Beautiful display, beautiful play by the Cloud9 guys, and here we are. I'm starting to believe, Vince. I'm starting to believe. The individuals are showing up. We saw it in the first half as well. The team didn't show up. The game plan, the game book sort of was not good enough from Cloud9, but on the CT side, you don't need that as much. You just need to win your duels, and that's exactly what Floppy was doing right here. Beautiful clutch by this young man.
Yeah, I was curious if Renegades would go all in on this round, knowing they killed 4 with a bomb plant. They could have afforded some rifles, but they decided against it. Feeling like Cloud9 still 6 rounds behind. There's still a buffer. They don't have to push the panic button just yet.
Definitely right about that. There's no need to panic just yet. Another round where they just invested into pistols and a bit of armor. utilities on all the players, so they could do some sort of execute towards either the A or the B bomb site. But for now, they're just sitting back and waiting and praying that someone from Cloud9 will make a mistake they can take an advantage off. Nobody's doing that from Cloud9 right now, and that's what I'm seeing as well. I'm starting to see a team that is playing well. Not taking any unnecessary risks. Not going for any duels that is not necessarily needed. And if you do that, and you win the duels that you take, well, you're in a good spot for a comeback right here. So I'm starting to believe in Cloud9. I've seen enough of the individuals showing up. OC with another kill with the AWP as well. It's getting warmed up as well. It's starting to look good.
Dexter is going to put some down the back of their minds, and certainly in mind. 2 kills to Dexter. Does he realize the third play is long? Judging by that smoke and flash, yes, he does. And maybe pushing into the smoke again, trying to really mess with the mines. He's got himself an AWP. He has checked long, but seen nothing. And that timing is going to favor MOTM and Cloud9. 20 seconds to play with, and Floppy comes out swinging. However, the bomb on the other side of the map, it was all a ploy, it was all a ruse, and Cloud9 have fallen for it. But they only have 2 Deagles as their arsenal and a smoke to play with. Up against 3 assault rifles and some nades. Molotov tossed in just to get rid of any players that are playing pesky at the back of the site. But from Pillar, Hat comes through with a Deagle. These Desert Eagles are claiming nothing but headshots. MOTM and Floppy going to be moving into a potential crossfire, one of which is Inns. He's missed his first chance and his teammate's gone down. It's now looking likely that Cloud9 can just hold on to the defusal. Inns comes back in for seconds, but it's too little too late. He is going to put a lot of pain down onto MOTM and Cloud9's economy, but Cloud9 just hold on.
That was a very, very close round in the end. Beautiful stuff done by Dexter once again, coming in with the Deagle. Just as I said, it's starting to look good for Cloud9. Dexter said no, turned it around and gave Renegades a real shot of winning this round. Beautiful fake as well, you know, moving the bomb into the B bomb site while he stayed alive for a long, long time on A. So Renegades showing that they can fight back. Still though, round goes in the favor of Cloud9, and we're now looking at a scoreline that is 13-8. Malta takes down Modem, and Dexter takes down JT. That was some of the aggression that we saw work so well for Renegades. This time around, though, didn't work for Cloud9, and now they're in a tough position. Again, 3 against 5. Make that 3 against 3.
OC and Floppy up to the task. SG, I do wonder how much of that aggression through middle was because they went for the weapons over the utility. They simply didn't have much to play with late game. OC is setting it up with Sonic. They don't check the close angle, and that's going to be at the cost of Malta's life. And Sonic may go out for seconds. OC is here in prime position, and he puts down Dexter. The comeback continues.
They've done it again. Another round where they're down 2-man, and they just pick it up. They win the duels, they act aggressively, and then they fall back and win the round regardless. Cloud9 have done that over and over again. On the T side, it didn't result in a lot of rounds won, but there was 3 or 4 occasions where they could have, where it came down to a 2 versus 2 or 1 versus 1. On the CT side, it's been the complete opposite picture. Whenever it gets down to a 1-on-1, it's going the way of Cloud9 right now. Renegades, you must start to sweat a little bit. If you're a fan of the Renegades right now, if you're a fan of the boys, I'd be afraid because Cloud9 is playing some stellar Counter-Strike right now. Sonic getting a flash, getting a kill. Dexter goes down, not finding the success he had on the CT side either. Once again, Renegades struggling a lot. You gotta give credit to Cloud9. They're playing well right now, Vince. I'm really liking what I'm seeing, especially after such a rough first half.
Yeah, it does feel like we've just been witnessing one long map of a CT masterclass. First Renegades and now Cloud9, and I do wonder if Renegades concede this round. I mean, surely a tactical timeout is just around the corner as well, just to try and mix things up.
Surely.
Because that would be 7 rounds that they would have conceded in a row.
They won the pistol, and that was it. That was it. They couldn't convert the second round, and now they find themselves in a rough spot. Still leading by 4 rounds, so still a decent amount of caution they have, but as said, it's starting to look really, really good for Cloud9. Once again, they have a nice setup here on the B bomb site. They have 3 guys towards A, so if he doesn't get this kill, which he does, then it could have been dangerous, but JT follows up as well. The team play between these 2 players are stellar right now. Floppy, though, left by himself, goes down to Malta. 1 versus 3 by Inns here. We've seen him play well thus far. Can he do it, though?
Time manpower, utility, everything was against him. And Cloud9 now hit their streak of 7 and 10 rounds. Do Renegades decide now is the time to get their heads together, or as they continue to press forward?
The only reason not to take a tactical timeout right now is because they know they don't have the money to buy into this round, so it's maybe not worth it to take a tactical timeout, then go into an anti-eco, sort of. Otherwise, I would highly, highly advocate for the Renegades coach and the Renegades staff right now, and the players for that matter as well, to take a timeout. Malta with the aggression in towards this B bomb side. He's gonna continue though, relentlessly. Floppy left by himself, getting 1 kill. Not able to find the second one just yet, and then he goes down. No, he does not get the second kill. Beautiful stuff by Floppy. Sicko following up as well. And all of a sudden, this round is turning into a winnable round for Renegades.
Picked up the SG and the M4. JT was so close to landing through the smoke. That would have denied the bomb plant, but instead he gets caught with a smoke out, leaving OC. He nearly had the hero play on the T side with a 1v3 clutch. Now he's gonna have to rinse and repeat, but Dexter says no. They've stopped the streak. 14-10.
That's exactly what Renegades needed. It wasn't even a buy round, it was a semi-buy round, and Mac 10 on Malta being aggressive towards short panned out pretty well. If I have to say it, then followed up with some CC kills and some pistol armor damage. It was enough for Renegades to win this round, and a little bit disappointing for Cloud9. And look how close this game has been throughout. 1 round, and they're instantly into MP9s, SMGs, and 2 deagles. It's been so, so close that Cloud9 haven't been able to build up any sort of economy throughout this entire half, despite winning, was it 7 or 8 rounds in a row. This is gonna sting a bit. That was just what Renegades needed. Look at this difference in the buy. This could be it. This could be game over. And it would be kind of sad considering how well Cloud9 have done to fight all the way back into this game.
The stage certainly is dimly lit on Cloud9's side of things, but maybe they can amplify and shine a beacon here onto Overpass. 4 smokes, or 4 flashes, pardon me. 4 smokes on the side of the T's, 4 flashes on Cloud9. No kits, they can't really afford to be in a post plant either. They're gonna have to go for broke and come out swinging here and see if they can land the KO as fast as possible. First contact, Malta takes damage, but OC takes a whole lot more. He's moving into the flames, ends up being purchased up by Malta, and the bomb is gonna follow. Some damage has been inflicted, and Sonic through the smoke actually hit Sicko, but there's Dexter and Malta spraying through with ins, and 5 match points come with them.
Yeah, what a rough story this has been for Cloud9. I think throughout that entire CT side, they did well. They wasn't able to win a lot of rounds with a lot of manpower surviving and then building up the economy, so they got instantly punished after losing that force buy from Renegades. Now finding themselves in a super, super rough position. 2 MP9s, a 5.7, a P250, and a deagle. That's all they have to work with. The utility has already been spent. OC pushing up here with the MP9. Malta is ready and waiting. He's probably not going to push any further. And if he does, that would mean the death of OC. Cloud9 have done everything correct on that CT side. They gave themselves a chance of making the comeback. They just lost that one pivotal round. Dexter now, he's ready for this, isn't he? He's getting 1 kill. He's almost connecting the second one as well. Sonic gets it though. Malta following up on OC. Got 2 players down to 1 HP, and that's gonna be it. 4 versus 3. Cloud9, that's about it. They did well, but Vince, it will require a miracle now.
It certainly would. And of course, the loser of this plays VP next. It's not going to get any easier. Sonic and Floppy, 50 seconds to try and stymie and stall the push onto the site with the bomb, which is heading towards B. They are gamble stacking A for the time being. Sonic on just a measly 8 health. Floppy is healthy, but just a P250. You maybe like to see Sonic drop that deagle to Floppy to try and get that one-tap potential. Well, that's just nitpicking ultimately.
Yeah, it would have been nice, for sure, but there's not much they can do there. Finding their way into this B bomb side. Imps is ready and waiting. Floppy gets a refrag here. It's a 1 versus 3. Got an MP9. Now picking up the SG. makes the odds slightly better of him doing some damage and maybe fighting his way into this round, but no utility. He doesn't even have a kit, does he? This seems impossible.
Just the smoke, and he has to wait out this smoke that's in his eyes right now. So already 50% of the bomb timer has dwindled away, and his health and Cloud9 will follow suit. A comfortable victory in the end for Renegades. It got a little bit dicey though on their T side. Cloud9 did mount a valiant comeback, but ultimately it was a bridge too far.
It wasn't enough. I think kudos to Cloud9 for fighting their way back into this game. I think we saw on the T side that individually speaking, they were there. They showed up on the server as a team. They didn't have a game plan that could deal with the aggression from Renegades, and that's something they have to go back at the hotel and look at. You know, you need to come up with something that can fix that, sort of. Otherwise, it's going to be tough to continue playing Overpass at this tournament. But besides from that, I think despite losing 16-10, they brought a valiant effort, and the individuals, again, I got to highlight it right. They showed up. They had some nice rounds, and that's something they need if they want to move on with this tournament.
I completely agree. I think ultimately, though, if they want to win this entire tournament, then that T side needs tweaking a little bit, because at points, no disrespect to Cloud9, they played really well, but it did seem like Renegades ran out of steam a little bit towards the middle portion of that.
Overpass is just incredibly tough if you don't have the answers for that CT aggression. That's how the map is laid out. You can be so aggressive on the CT side, and if you're on the T side and you don't know how to deal with it, it sometimes seems a little bit lackluster. I think Cloud9 were better than the scoreline reflects here, and I think Renegades as well. They played a great game and obviously won it 16-10.
Absolutely. I suppose the question for the desk is, could we say the Renegades are a contender now to win this whole thing after that?
Potentially. I definitely think so. But I think the one thing we have an issue with is our predictions. They haven't been
What do you mean?
very
I don't know what you
good.
mean. I'm going for 100% wrong.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
We discussed it before this event, right?
I need to stop jumping on your train. I think I get so caught up in your guys' convincing arguments. No. Yeah. Absolutely not. But congratulations to Renegades. What an incredible performance it was from them. We were sort of coming into this maybe doubting somewhat their performance. They were a bit of a question mark for us, but they really did prove that they were the better side in that match.
Yeah, absolutely, and they started right off the bat, and you could jump on the jet lag situation, but no, you cannot. Not here. That is not an explanation, because both teams had a long travel, a long journey to make it here, and if you're Cloud9, it just took you way too long to wake up, way too long to get into the game. Renegade side, they took matters into their own hands. They went aggressive, especially Dexter. That's a name that I'm going to repeat again and again and again on this desk. The responsibility he had, how aggressive he was, how impactful he was, being an in-game leader, that was amazing. Yes, Cloud9 did wake up, but I was too late.
For sure, and I think, Dexter has always consistently, every tournament I watch him, has mentioned the fact that he wants to play with the less pressure on his shoulders. He wants to be free within that server and not feel so scared to make those kinds of moves. And you can see absolutely that it's reflecting within that server, because he made Cloud9 so uncomfortable, whether it was towards that bathroom, connector, or even long A. Cloud9 went A bomb site majority of that first half. They were only successful in the very last round when they actually hit that A bomb site. So this was one of those classic cases where it just snowballed so out of their control, because when you watched Cloud9, they made it all the way to the divider section of the bathroom. They had the nice flashes to push Zico off of that op angle, but then all of a sudden it just snowballed out of their control when they were executing into that bomb site. Just one by one, they were taken out.
Yeah, and I would even go as far as say that what Cloud9 actually did, I'm not sure it's going to work against other teams. I think I'm talking about Renegades here. Dexter, he took too much risk, in my opinion, but Cloud9 were just not in a position to punish him.
Well, we have been speaking so much about Dexter. We've actually got him down on the sofa for an interview. Congratulations once again on that win. That was absolutely spectacular. How does it feel to be starting off your DreamHack Open 2020 journey with that win?
Feels really great. I didn't expect anything really for this tournament, so feel just great with everyone playing really well today.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in your pre-game interview you were really, really down to earth about it. You were very realistic about your goals coming into this, but I was so impressed with that first half with that CT side. It was just so dominant. What was your kind of game plan coming into that?
Honestly, there was no game plan. It was just play our game as much as possible. Like, don't give them too much space. As you can see, I was doing a lot of risky plays, and I did it versus other teams in the past, and it's worked. So it's doing all right so far. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you yourself had an incredibly spectacular game, and I also want to pick up on Hats as well. Obviously, he's come in replacement of Dick Stacey. What's his kind of integration into the team been like?
It's been pretty easy. He's just like gone straight into the same role, and then just a lot more firepower for us, and it's just a nice chill dude, so it's just perfect for us.
Well, it's definitely been paying off, and I believe the desk have a couple of questions they also want to throw at you, Dexter. What have you guys got?
Yeah, Dexter, you mentioned that the risky plays, they did end up paying off today, and it looked really beautiful. I wanted to ask, did you prepare differently for best of ones versus best of threes with your risky plays, or are you going to approach it the same no matter the circumstances?
It's mostly the experience we have playing Overpass together. We've noticed a lot of trends happening recently in the meta, so it's easy to kind of do those risky plays so that you can get info for the rest of my team into the late round, basically.
All right, amazing. And now just going a little bit away from the server and talking about being in Renegades, does that put pressure on you guys? Did you feel anything different when you started playing under that tag? That is quite legendary in your region.
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure. I've got to really represent the whole region and just the brand and everything, so it's pretty intense, but we're trying to take a calm approach to it all.
And one last question just before you go. You guys will be playing big later today. What's your kind of approach going into that game? Because they are a team that are on another level themselves.
We're just going to look at what maps we want to play and then how we want to play and just talk about it, everything together. And other than that, it's pretty chill, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. It's fantastic to get an insight from you guys. We'll be back after this short break with Mad Lions versus Heroic. Don't go anywhere.